Good morning. This is Larry Hayward, pastor of Westminster Presbyterian Church. One of the nice things about sheltering in place for empty nesters like my wife and me, working at home, conducting classes and meetings and worship online, and in Maggie's case, not having to commute to Silver Spring, all this means that we have a more relaxed life than we had before. One way we exercise that more relaxed pace is by walking 3 to 4 miles nearly every day. We live near the church, so we occasionally see church members out walking, and with proper social distance, masking and gloved attire, we stop and talk to them. We even get a glimpse of their faces behind their masks. The face is a funny thing in the human community, in a community of faith. In worship in the sanctuary, the congregation watches the faces of the ministers and choir. The ministers watch the faces of the congregation. In worship that is live streamed, many of you have commented that you enjoy getting to see the ministers and the music director up close. You can see our faces more intimately. When I conduct an online meeting or lead an online class, it's wonderful because depending on the size of the group and the size of the screen, I can see a dozen or 25 or sometimes even more faces with their names at the bottom in the style in which I'm told that the Brady Bunch used to open. But online learning and worship has its limits. I'm only seeing the same 100 or 125 faces a week. Those who were in meetings were taking my classes. I am aware of not having seen the faces of hundreds of other people in the congregation whose faces I would at least see from time to time, some quite frequently. And when I'm preaching, all I really see is a camera. So I cannot tell who is being moved by the sermon and who's engaged in a heroic but usually unsuccessful battle against sleep. I'm also, as a pastor and as a human being, poignantly aware of people who have not been able to see face to face people they love who lay dying from COVID-19 or other causes. No matter how good Zoom and live streaming and even FaceTime are, there is nothing like the sight of a familiar face, even if it is standing 6 feet away, socially distant. Like many of you, most of our children and our one grandchild live in another part of the country. So we've not really had to suffer the loss of suddenly not being able to see them. But the last time we saw our granddaughter Stevie was Thanksgiving, and she is twice as old now as she was then. We see her face many times on Facebook and Instagram. In fact, through those media, we saw her take her first step a few days ago. But it's still not the same. We're seriously considering putting sleeping bags in our car, packing 10 meals, driving 1,000 miles to Iowa, eating at picnic tables by the road, and sleeping in the car at rest stops, then waving to her on her back porch without touching her, and then driving straight home again without stopping at a restaurant or a hotel. All of this just to be able to see her face. To see her face live, face to face. I don't know what we'll decide, but stay tuned. The Apostle Paul once wrote to the church at Thessalonica, "When for a short time we are made orphans by being separated from you, in person, not in heart, we longed with great eagerness to see you face to face." My friends, however long or short, the time will come when we shall once again see one another face to face. And it will be a joyful reunion. Amen.